Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Yo Kids podcast. Before we get started, special shout out to a couple of our sponsors that are mission to ensure that you do not homeschool alone. So, special shout out to Classical Conversations, who is a nationwide curriculum provider as well as community support. And another shout out to Basecamp, which is a new app available for download free that is mission to ensure that you find community around you. So it's like a Zillow, but for homeschool families. So check them out because it's pretty cool. And today we have with us Gar. Gar, introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, my name's Garr Russell. I'm a full-time homeschool dad down here in Florida. We got four beautiful kids. We were full-time RVers for 5 years. We're entrepreneurs. So I'm excited to come on and talk homeschool and all that kind of stuff with you guys.
I know. Let's talk about it. Why homeschool? Why did you get there, or how did you get there rather?
You know, I don't know how that happened. It's funny because I was homeschooled for a brief time when I was young. And when I met my wife, Tina, I always said to her three things. I said, I want to live in Florida, I want five kids, and I want to homeschool. And she's like, all right, I'm cool with Florida. Five kids kind of sounds like a lot. And there ain't no way on God's green earth that I'm going to homeschool ever. And then you know how God does what he does. And it came time to get Emma in school, our oldest. And she just didn't have peace about it. She started talking to people. And like you mentioned, one of the sponsors, their Classical Conversation, that's how we started our homeschool journey. We led a classical campus. I was, I forget the term now, an instructor or whatever for one of the rooms. And yeah, that's how it all went down.
Oh wow. Okay. So she was like, all right, so two of these are non-negotiable, but one, yeah, let's not do that. So you were on board with the homeschooling, but she was not. How was your homeschool? You obviously liked it if you wanted to do it with your own.
You know, it very vague memories of my homeschool journey because I was really young. My parents got divorced when I was fourth, fifth grade, and the homeschooling was before that. So
Okay.
it was a long, long time ago. I just had these couple sweet memories, that you could just kind of these core memories that kind of stand out from your childhood, and a couple of them were to do with homeschool. And so I don't know if that's where the desire for homeschool came, but I'm sure glad it was there, however it got there.
Indeed, indeed. How did your homeschool day look like with the four? You shy of one of your five, but how does it look like for your four?
So this year is very unique. We're doing a lot of school online this year, which is hilarious. It's so funny because our kids, right? Classical conversation, like you don't take multiple choice, right? You're
Mhm.
memorizing songs, and there's the logic, the grammar, the rhetoric. Like there's no multiple choice. So this is literally the first year our kids have ever done multiple choice, and they all have like Fs. We're like week two into school. They're all failing miserably because they're like, what is this, Dad? Like, I don't get it. It's like giving me these four answers, and one is like definitely wrong, but the other one is this and that. And so it's been a real interesting year so far. And the reason why we're doing more online this year is because we just bought a restaurant and we
Mm.
all work there together. It's the oldest diner in our little town where we live, started in 1951.
Oh
And
wow.
so, like Emma, who's our oldest, that's basically why we bought the restaurant, is we're buying our 16-year-old a job. Uh, she works there several days a week. She'll be going off to YWAM in California as soon as she turns 18. So we've almost like kind of half graduated her. I've graduated her. My wife's like, no, we can't say that. People will look weird at us. And she works at the
No,
restaurant.
16 is a good age.
I think it's great. She's waitressing, so she gets to interact with people, and she has to learn the system for placing orders and work with numbers and all those things, all the way down to our 8-year-old Isabella. She has what's called Bella's Bakery, and she bakes these little cinnamon desserts, and she'll
Oh,
go walk around the restaurant and sell her desserts to people. And So that's why we're doing the online like multiple choice this year. But before that, it's always been songs, memorization, written papers, tons of reading.
So you did classical conversations the whole way up until now?
We did classical conversations for probably a good 6, 8 years.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. Are y'all a part of any co-ops?
we are part of co-ops. Yep, that's important to us for community. We have a co-op that actually starts next week because down here in Florida, school started last week. So starting next week is the first return to the co-op. I taught there last year on entrepreneurship. My wife helped lead it the year before, and yeah, co-ops are so important. They really are.
Community, yes, big
Yeah,
time. How often do
yeah.
y'all meet?
That co-op is every other week, and now I think she does one other co-op where they do like an outing once a month. And we were part of one that was weekly, but we stopped doing that one just because we have such an active lifestyle. We travel a lot, this and that. We just thought, that's probably not the best group for us because we just can't be there consistently. And I think we've experienced it from leading co-ops and leading CC. Like it can feel a little frustrating, right? When you're organizing these communities and people are like barely participating, like you're there every week pouring your heart and soul in, and then family shows up like once a quarter and they got like 10 kids and it's like turns the whole room into chaos. But hey, I get it. That's the homeschool life. Sometimes, you never know what to expect.
That flexibility, gotta be flexible.
Yeah.
Flexible. Yeah. So okay, with your homeschool, because y'all have been homeschooling since the Ruta, y'all were full-time RVing while homeschooling.
Yeah. Yeah. We traveled the country for about 5 years. One of our businesses is an RV rental business. And so with that being our business, we're into RVing. And one winter, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, as soon as my toes start getting cold in Michigan, because that's where we were at the time, I'm like, I don't want cold toes anymore. We're leaving as soon as cold toe weather hits. We're leaving. We're not getting back till like toe in the sand weather hits. And then just kind of one thing led to the next, and we just ended up traveling the country and doing homeschool that way, which is such a blast. And we met so many other homeschool families too. And really, when we did this was 2 years ago now since we've been on the road, and it's just growing more and more and more. It's amazing how popular it is.
Indeed. How was that? Like how, because that's a lot of people in the RV. I had, I did this summer with my two girls and then who I call my fairy godmother. She was there for half the ride. And she went back in Mississippi when we were in Mississippi and then we went on. It was just me and my two girls. So it was three of us. And I was like, oh, these, tight knit quarters
Yeah.
were interesting. But it was cool though. It was. So how did y'all make that work? How was your day to day
It,
then?
yeah, it does get tight. And hey, the first winter we left, I brought my mother-in-law too.
Ooh.
So throw that into the equation. Yeah. So, and I'm still happily married. But yeah, it definitely is. It You definitely have to figure out, right? I mean, just walking down a hall or opening a cabinet door now, nobody can go that way. I mean, things definitely get tight, but we're really big outdoorsy people. So the only time we were really in the RV, which we had a drivable, a Class C, was we're traveling or sleeping. So we were always doing life outside. So it wasn't horrible, but yeah, then you get a rainy day and yeah, quarters get tight quick for sure. And honestly, that's why we stopped was I was cheating as much as I could and still calling myself an RVer. I had a 2-story, 42-foot park model up in Michigan, parked on a lake.
Oh
I had
wow.
the exact same model on a 5-acre hobby ranch down in Florida. And then we were traveling in a 37-foot Class A. So we literally had 3 RVs. We were like, and still calling ourselves full-time RVers. And it just got to the point, my 14-year-old daughter, she's like, Dad, I need like some stability. I need a social life, this and that. She's my butterfly. She's just an extreme extrovert, and so that's when we're like, okay, we'll get into a house. So we literally went from a 400 square foot RV to a 4,000 square foot house It's funny, like when we first got in it, we're like yelling to it, "Hey, where are you?" Like, kids are so used to being in this little thing. It's like, "Mom, Dad, are you in here?"
Yes. What did that do for y'all relationship though? Like your family bond.
Oh man, we have so many. That's the one of the biggest goals of us with homeschooling, doing life with our kids. There's two goals. One is that we have a heart connection. So no matter what our child is going through, they always know they can come to mom and dad and talk to us about it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's like the number one goal. If my kid is doing okay at math and can't tell you where Indiana is and three other things, right? Doesn't know who the last president is, but our hearts are connected and I can look at my kid's eyes and know something's going on, or I have a good idea of their gifts and talents, so I can continue to mold them for what God has for them. To me, that's what it's all about. So
Right.
that traveling together like that was definitely huge. That, and then our other saying is our responsibility before our kids are 18 and we kick them out is to get them as many chances as they can to have encounters with God as possible. And so the traveling and doing mission trips with our kids, and we do food drives with our kids, just stuff like that, where they get chances to encounter the Lord, and also where they get chances to see like hurting people and feel a compassion for those people. So like serving at a food drive for our kids, that's part of the homeschool. We do that every couple of weeks, and to me, that's one of the most important things we do as part of our homeschool. That is serving people so they can see, like, wow, look how blessed I am, first of all. And second of all, look how thankful this person is to get a watermelon and whatever.
Yeah. No, no, I love this. Because I love your hat changed the world. Like it sounds like you are a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we have several businesses. The restaurant we just bought, Gladys's, it's the oldest diner in our little town, started in 1951. Our RV rental company we own, we have 70 locations around the country. We do mess around with real estate as well, short term and long term. And then our kids are always, my boy was just, my 14-year-old was just out there pitching me on, hey, Dad, we got to buy this boat so we can fix it and flip it. And then, and I want to do this and that. Oh, we rent boats too. Uh, but yeah, we are definitely serial entrepreneurs for sure.
Oh, I love it. And then you got them thinking so young too. Like they on it. Like, hey, Dad, let's do this. What's the age range of your kids?
8, 10, 14, 16. Isabella's our 8-year-old. She's a little entrepreneur. She makes those
The
those
baked goods, the cinnamon
the
rolls.
baked goods. She sells out almost every day.
Nice.
And she's a saver too. She's got a whole bunch of money in the bank. And then Noah, our 10-year-old, he's our most entrepreneurial. He'll take over Fireside someday. He's just got a brilliant mind for business. Literally one day I was praying about what the Lord had for my kids, and when God showed me the entrepreneur that Noah was going to be, literally I felt intimidated. He
Oh,
was 8 at the time. I literally felt an intimidation towards my 8-year-old, because when the Lord showed me how successful he's going to be someday, it was like, whoa, that dude's he's gonna do some big things. And he already talks about, like, yeah, once I have my private plane, I can fly Emma on her missionary work and this and that, and he's gonna have his grandma with him. Nani's going with him. Nani will be with me. And yeah, they definitely are dreamers for sure.
I love it. So you got the 8 to 10 year old, then the 14 who just
Yeah,
talked,
14, and
try
then
to
Emma's
sell you on the
16.
boat, and then you have the 16 who's waitressing.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
that is awesome. I love it. Okay, so what's next? Like, what's next with the family?
We're working in the restaurant together, so we're kind of figuring all that out, what that looks like, how to teach our kids how to serve people, and always be looking around like, okay, find a need, what's the next need, how do you meet that? That and really just my main mission. I always say my main priority in life is to prepare my wife and kids to fulfill their calling. So we try to be very intentional with everything we do to prepare our kids to fulfill our callings. Like Emma, she's known that she was going to be a missionary since she was a little girl. She's been on tons of mission trips. She just got back from YWAM in California. She'll be going there to their Circuit Riders program in the following January. And so part of her homeschooling right now is she's going to get her certification as a youth mental health coach. Because one thing we realized about our Emma, which was for a while, it was very discouraging, is she would always, all her friends had tons of issues. We're like, Lord, why can't our Emma just get a normal friend, right? Like all her friends, which, hey, I know we all got issues, but all her friends are like, there's, 16, right? So 16 and a girl, there's a lot of issues you can have at that age.
Indeed.
16,
Yes.
right? With sex and drugs and parents being divorced, just all kinds of things. But then what the Lord showed us is the reason why she has these friends in her lives is because she's a lifesaver to them. She ministers to them. She helps them think through things rationally. She encourages them. And so with all that being said, we just got her enrolled for that certification to be a youth mental health coach, which is, in our research, we're like, discovered that's a huge need, right? Mental health coaches.
Indeed.
And especially to have a 16-year-old that, just think of having a 16-year-old that could come and encourage your 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, properly encourage them because they're equipped and they have the tools and they can think things through logically and all that. So
yeah, that makes all the difference because, it's way different hearing it from a peer, someone who is, around the same age as you. So, yes, she's going to do great things. Phenomenal. It sounds like she's already doing phenomenal things. So I love that your kids are being encouraged to do things now and not later. A lot of parents think, or just how society is set up to think that, our work starts at 18 basically, or however, whenever we leave the house. But through what you're saying and, plenty of conversation I have with homeschool families in general, it's like, no, you don't have to wait. Like you can do it now. You have four whole entrepreneurs here that are making, you got an 8-year-old selling out baked goods every day. Like, I love that.
Yeah, one of my mentors, Josh Latimer, he says, put your kids in as many opportunities to fail as possible. And when he said that, I'm like, what? And then he went on to explain it. He's like, failure is one of the ultimate teachers in life. And most times as parents, we're trying to protect our kids from failing, right? You join a team nowadays, everybody gets first place, everybody this or that, right? We don't want no one to be the loser.
Yes.
Yeah, none of those things, right? But he's like, no, the way that your child's going to build grit and resilience and tenacity, all these characteristics, is going to be when they're put in tough positions where they fail, and then you get to actually coach them through that and say, hey, what did you learn in that failure? And I always love to say, you're never losing, you're always learning. And so it's really not a failure if you try something and you learn a couple things out of that, right? Like Thomas Edison, 10,000 tries to make the light bulb, but if we're sheltering our kids, and that's one of those things too, where as homeschool parents too, we got to be careful because some of us, we pull our kids out of school to protect them, but we got to make sure we're protecting them from the right things, not protecting them from everything.
From life,
because
yes.
big disservice, right? Especially as Christians, we try to protect our kids from all these things, and then all of a sudden someday they decide they want to go to college, and they feel like they were completely hoodwinked because they're like, wait, there's 10,000 other religions out there. Wait, there's this, there's that. A college professor can make them feel like a complete, idiot in 10 minutes, and they feel like their whole faith was a lie. Like, you made me believe in Jesus and Santa Claus. No, I don't believe in nothing, So it's important to let our kids fail. I just read this. I was just listening to this message yesterday, and it said, one second, let me look this up because this is really good.
Nice.
I'm gonna do a message on this here in a couple days. It said, learn how to fail successfully. And what he said, Peter denied Jesus and became the head of the church. Judas denied Jesus and he hung himself. So two people who failed by denying Jesus Peter became the head of the church, Judas committed suicide. So if we learn how to fail successfully, which is basically when we make a mistake, admitting that mistake and then learning from it, getting curious, like Tony Robbins says, get curious, like, hey, how could that have gone differently? Get curious and then realize, oh, wait, I could have done this different, or I learned this, or I learned that, And I love talking about this stuff because to me, this is entrepreneurship
Indeed.
and coaching and mentoring.
Yeah, but your journey is important because you had a bunch of failure along the way. You want to share? Like, cause you were hearing like, okay, he got all these businesses, like your children are entrepreneurs, y'all have a 4,000 square foot house, but it wasn't always like this.
Oh no, I got all kinds of failures. Yeah, sure. And I'm so glad you said that because that's to me that's one of the most important things to share when we're sharing with others, because somebody can't walk away from listening to a podcast like this and have hope unless they know, oh, Gar struggled with alcohol, almost lost everything. Oh, Gar had a bankruptcy in 2008 and ended up homeless. Oh, Gar got fired from his job in 2007 from sharing his faith, and then the crash hit. Yeah, so that's true. And that's how you write good books too. My last book
Indeed.
I just put out was called My History, and at the bottom of the book I say life happens for you, not to you, because
Mm.
all those failures that I've had, God was able to use those to first of all bring things to surface inside of me that I didn't want to acknowledge and deal with, and put them so plainly in my face that I literally, right, had that Peter or Judas choice. I could go in a corner and die, or I could say, man, I really messed up there. And yeah, one of my most recent failures was during COVID. I got very passive in my business. I had a CEO and my whole team, and I was just letting them do everything. And I really wasn't checking in and staying on top of my finances. Well, I was drinking every day, and I was justifying it because I was a good drunk. I did it. I didn't drink and drive. I didn't beat my kids, right? I didn't all those things. I, w- you know, uh, but what I was doing was my business was slowly dying. And so what was I doing? I sold off multiple seven figures of my real estate portfolio to keep everything afloat. And in my mind, I justified it by saying, "Oh, I bought that property for 50K. I'm selling it for 250. Like this is phenomenal." But I needed that 250. I wasn't selling it because I was getting a 5x return. I was selling it because if I didn't sell that property, you
You're
know,
gonna lose something
6 weeks
else.
from now I might be bankrupt.
Yeah.
And then finally, what happened in May of 23, this is actually, we stopped drinking March 17 of 2023. We stopped drinking, my wife and I. 2 months after that, I got COVID. It hit my mind heavy. I started having suicidal thoughts, nightmares, panic
Mm.
attacks, all these things. I actually called a friend of mine who's in the mental health field, and he told me, I forget now, I was like the second or third person that day that called him with the exact same symptoms. That's crazy, isn't it? Like
Yes.
from that round of COVID or strand of COVID or however it works. I don't know. I don't study how COVID works, but I fired my CEO through text, like a complete butthead or however you want to say it. Fired her through text. I just freaked out. I started diving into my books with my account, realizing like I was going under. And then what did I do? I did what Peter did with Jesus. I repented, and then God reconciled me. And I had to go around to some investors that I owed money and tell them what happened. And praise God, I just paid off the last investor earlier this year. And not only did that, I love to say repent, reconcile, restore is the process with God. And then the Lord restored us. We literally went from the 12 locations that we had to the almost 70 that we have now in those couple of
Mm.
years. And we paid off all the debt that we had. And yeah, so it was, I call it, it was my COVID coma to my COVID comeback.
Nice. Thank you for your transparency with that. Because that is something that people do need to hear because you know,
Yeah,
especially with how social media is set up. It's like we always hear and see the success story, the success part of the story. We don't see the struggle or know the journey that was taken to get to the success.
yeah,
Because it is, you know, it's not overnight by no means. And we got to share that part as you know, as we do reach those levels of success, we do have to share the back end of, okay, no, it wasn't always beautiful. Okay. It wasn't always peaches and sunshines and rainbows. Like, please no. It was a lot to get here. So
yeah, most definitely. And that's the thing about it too. That's literally the framework that they use for movies. They call it the hero's journey. If you go
mhm.
online and research the hero's journey, that's literally the framework of movies, right? Introduce your main character, life is good, tragedy hits, all of a sudden they're in the wilderness, they have to go and find themselves and discover, they go through, right? And then they get this revelation and then they get this restoration and they come back with the elixir and they conquer their enemies. And and that literally is life. So just to encourage people, if you feel like you're in that season right now, know that that is not a wasted season. That season is actually one of the most important seasons of your life, and those are the seasons where you need to press in the most. Like when we lost everything in 2008, that was one of the most beautiful seasons with my wife and I, and with me and growing in the Lord, when I literally had nothing, bankrupt, writing checks that I didn't even have the money in the bank account for in faith to pay my employees for my business. And God, like he did for the Israelites every day, God provided. And then he brought us into the promised land. And that was before I screwed up again, right? So I was in the promised land. I went back to the wilderness. And that's the journey, right? That's just the second movie. That's
Indeed. That's
Gar
the second
two.
movie. Yes.
Movies have more than one, they come out with the second one. Uh,
Indeed.
so those are important seasons to go through. A lot of
Of
times we miss
course.
them.
Of course. Yeah, no, one of my favorite sayings, and I use it just about every day, if not weekly. Um, Trust the process. Like we gotta trust it. Like you said, those storms are building us up for a reason. Like look, we weather through them. And I always tell people like, think of your worst day, think of your worst time in your life, and then understand that you made it through it. Like
Yeah,
you're here now. Like you're here.
yeah,
So you're built to go. By all means, you
yeah,
just gotta keep going and you gotta trust it. Cause it is real out here. It's a lot. It's
yeah.
a lot.
Um, are you familiar with Myron Golden?
I've heard the name.
Okay.
Is that the like is I feel like he references a lot of things with the Bible. He's like a public figure as far as motivational speaker.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker. He teaches on entrepreneurship, and then he's a Bible teacher as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
he's really blown up the last couple of years. But one of his sayings is, "All work works. It either works
Mm,
on you or it works for you. So it's working. So as long as you're taking forward steps, the work is either going to work on you and make you a better person, or it's going to work for you. But the cool thing about work is it's always working.
yes, I like that. All work works.
All
Yes.
work works. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of
Yeah.
work to be done, especially with yourself, because that's the main focus. We're trying to be better versions of ourselves. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, if we take accountability for us and understanding that we do have a purpose here and work on that purpose, that's all of the difference. Like you had say, that's how you change the world. Like, that's how you make the
Yes.
difference. And understanding that you are just as important as any other person that you come across to how all of this will work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I love that. I love that you are sharing the ups and the downs and the
Mhm.
homeschooling and the entrepreneurs. Like you got a lot going on over there.
Yeah, we do. We have a full life for sure.
Yes. So any other businesses you want to highlight?
No, our main business venture is the Fireside RV rental. And if you don't mind, I'll share about what that is real quick.
Yes, please.
And basically, what that is we're a property management company for RVs. So the same as somebody would hire a property manager to rent out their house for them or their Airbnb for them. That's what we do with RVs. So RVs, there's over 12 million RVs sitting around the country. People use them maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So when they're not using them, they place them with one of our franchises, and then we basically rent it out on their behalf. We help with the maintenance. We do everything for them. It's completely passive, and it's kind of cool because first of all, you get to send families camping. Second of all, your RV is not just sitting around doing nothing anymore. You actually get to write off the insurance and repairs and storage and all that. And then third, you actually get to depreciate it the same as you can real estate under IRS code 178, like you could a investment property or a work vehicle. You can depreciate it now. So it literally turns from a liability to an asset. And then we sell that franchise opportunity. So it's the cool thing about a franchise is you're buying a proven system. So we've got the community and the support and the trainings and all those things, and my whole calling is serving Christian entrepreneurs. So everything I do is based on the Bible as far as running my business and serving others. And so, yeah, it's a fun business. It literally started, I bought my wife a camper for a 10-year wedding anniversary. I call this my other pain to purpose story. I bought her a camper for 10-year wedding anniversary. She's 7 months pregnant with Isabella. We're at the campground. She's sweating, hot, miserable, chasing our toddler around. And she's like, this is not fun. I don't know what the idea of an anniversary is, but this was not a good deal. So she went home. She literally went home. I'm sitting at the campground, and I love to paint the picture of I'm sitting in front of a fire with a s'more, like the marshmallow falls into the ashes, and I'm like, oh no, I lost my s'more too. But the entrepreneurial mind, kicked in. I'm like, I'm renting this thing out because I own real estate. So I throw it up on Craigslist, which was the thing in 2016. Mm-hmm. And within a couple hours, people are messaging me wanting to rent the camper.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, all right, here we go. So literally I messaged my best friend, Jeremy. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm renting my camper. You want me to rent yours? He's like, yeah, rent my camper. I'm like, all right, cool. I messaged my buddy Darren. Then I messaged my sister-in-law, Tiffany. I'm like, hey, I'm renting out people's campers. You want me to rent yours? And she's like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Why would I let somebody sleep in the bed of my camper? That's gross. What? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, well, hey, I got 5 people in a row until you told me no. And that's literally how the business goes. People either think, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yes, please take my camper. It's doing nothing. There's probably people listening to this right now. They're like, yeah, that's exactly me. Our camper takes up part of our driveway and we use it hardly ever because we're in sports and this and that. Or it's my sister-in-law, Tiffany, who says, yeah, that's weird. No, thank you.
I know. Well, has she come around since Airbnbs? Because, that's people staying in your house, in your bed.
Yeah.
So,
nope, she never did sign up with us. Nope.
She said, no, it's going to sit here. Yeah, she's like, no, it's going to sit here when we're not using it.
The cool thing about it, though, too, I write about this in a couple of books ago called My Real Estate Story, which, by the way, you can go to myrealestatestory.com and you can get my book for free.
Oh, nice.
Same with my history, or you can go on Amazon if you like to hold a book in your hands and just look me up and you'll see my books there. But it's a house on wheels, right? That's why I call it real estate. So during COVID, we were renting RVs as mobile quarantine units. People rent RVs if, say, their house burns. They put an RV on the side of their house. We work with NASCAR, with movie production companies, music festivals, all kinds of different venues.
Nice. Oh, nice. And you've expanded from calling, hey friend, do you want me to rent your RV to 70 locations around the nation? How dope is that?
Yeah, God really blessed it. We've got hundreds and hundreds of RVs across the nation, and it's good stuff.
Good. Yes, because that's especially homeschool world. With us having traveled in the RV this past summer, and that's all we heard, at all the stops. It's like, oh, I want to get an RV, but I don't know. Or, oh, my friend's been talking about this, or I'm trying to get my husband to do,
Yeah.
it's just, it's always an RV story, but people are definitely buying into the notion of let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
It's funny you say husband, like I'm trying to get my wife or I'm trying to get my husband. A lot of the RVs we get are from husband wives and they're usually drivables. They're like, hey, take the keys. We went on a trip together and we want to stay married. So here, just take the RV, rent it out. And that's not common. Most people fall in love with RVing. It's a blast, but we've had a
Yeah.
couple that are like that. And we just had we call them fireside chats. Tuesday night, we jump on Zooms and we pray and talk business and this and that. And I just was talking to a new franchisee in Colorado who a lot of our franchisees are retired military. And he was saying, man, I started reaching out to people. He just signed up with us. And he reaches out to this guy, and him and his wife bought an RV. And then she got really sick.
Aw.
And so it was a total blessing for him because RVs are like other things. You can go buy it. They're like, yeah, 0% down, 20-year financing. So there's no way he could have just turned that back into the dealership. He would have had to go to the dealership with $5,000 or more. So
Mhm.
that was a really cool story to hear the other day. How when he reached out, that it was a blessing for them to say, yes, oh my gosh, this is an answer to prayer. Please help us.
Indeed. Have you ever thought about renovating like old school? This is a little goal of mine for the future. I want to renovate old school buses because I feel like eventually, like, they're even now, so they already aren't as great use because, so many kids are withdrawn from school or going to alternative methods of schooling and all that good stuff. So I just feel like there's about to be like this just grand array of school buses that are going to be for the low, and I just want to I want to renovate them
Yeah.
and give them out to the displaced, um, because I feel like that would be a great, restart for people.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. In our little hobby ranch we had down here, we had a couple buses that we renovated. We didn't, we just had them right in place, we renovated them and we rented the whole property out as like this little Airbnb ranch you could rent. But
Oh,
yeah, I agree with
nice.
you. Yeah. We have a couple of our franchisees that do that. They buy campers, renovate them, update them, and then flip them or rent them. Yeah.
Yes, no, the off-grid living is a thing right now. Like that is what people are intrigued about. That is what people are trying to get to. So I think you're in a wonderful market. I mean, not like you need my opinion or anything, but just like you're doing some great things, and you are definitely changing the world.
Well, thank you.
Of
We all are as
course.
homeschoolers, that's for sure.
Of course, of course. The mindset is totally different.
Yeah.
So you already gave us where to find your books, Riverside RV rental,
Yeah, if you go to it's
Fireside,
firesideRVrental.com. Yep, you can look at RVs to rent. You can look at our management program or you can learn about the franchise
the
opportunity.
franchise opportunity. And how does the franchise work? Because you're saying that you basically they'll get a Fireside RV, like the name itself, and then they have to get their like their coalition of RVs to rent out, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
so we do it's a business in a box. So that's the cool thing about the franchise world is literally all the systems and softwares and coaching and community, all the things that you need are right there. So we show you where to go find the RV owners. We'll send you leads too, but that's not the main way you're going to build your business. It's going to be more you in your local area. You don't have to even have real estate because what you do is you just partner with a storage facility. So you find a storage
Hmm.
facility within, 10, 15, 30 minutes of you, group the RVs together there. The owners pay for the storage, so it's very low overhead. The owners pay for the storage, and that's your base of operations that you operate out of. And the cool thing about our business model too is you collect a 50% management fee, which is huge because typically in real estate property management, it's like 8 to 12% that you
Hmm.
collect. So it's a really good fee that you collect. And then there's other ways you can earn money too. RV repairs is really growing. So a lot of our franchisees, we're getting them certified as RV repair techs. That's a really good too for like homeschool parents. If you got kids that are handy, man, look into RV repair because you can bill it, 125, 145 an hour. You can go get
Hmm.
certified as an RV repair tech within a handful of weeks. It's a very quick process. You don't need to, go through extensive training. And so we're actually at our retreat that we're having down here in November. The following week, uh, Garth, one of our franchisees, we got him certified to certify others. So that following week, he's going to be doing classes certifying our franchisees. So yeah, it's there's multiple revenue streams.
Yes. No, and I feel like what you have as far as your franchise go would be a great thing for our for homeschoolers to look into for either side or main income. Because, as homeschoolers, we're always trying to figure out how to stay afloat, especially if it's going from two incomes to one income or
Yeah,
one income to one income. Like,
yeah,
they're trying to figure
yeah.
it out because that's always a big question of how do I work in homeschool? And like, I feel like you've introduced something great to the families.
Yeah, a lot of homeschool families that are franchises, they love it because the kids are helping clean the campers and
Mm.
restock them. Or if you're delivering the camper for a renter, I when I started my main location in Michigan, I'd always have a kid with me. Like, hey, we're going to Muskegon State Park to deliver a camper. Like, here we go, And so you get to go explore and do school on the way and then set up the camper. And then the joy of seeing a family show up and the kids are running in the camper and picking out their beds and talking about, I mean, it is a blessing. It is a really fun business for sure. I mean, and two, it's like you said, there's ups and downs in life. There's hard parts to the business, just like anything else.
Of
You
course.
got you got somebody coming to pick up an RV, and you go to put the slide out to for the walkthrough. And you're like, oh shoot, the slide out ain't moving. Like, like dang it, what's going on? There's always something going on.
Of course, that's with everything. But like you said, the repair business is definitely booming because I definitely came across plenty of repairs through
Yeah,
just our 3 months of travel. So I already know that is a high industry there, sir.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Yes. So, okay, two more questions before I let you go. Um, One, with all that you do and being a serial entrepreneur and then homeschooling on top of that, how do you make sure you are replenished and rejuvenated on a day-to-day basis? How do you self-care?
So we start our homeschool morning a little later. That's important to us. So sometimes it's easy to like, all right, I'm up, get the kids up, like let's get this done. But we've learned, hey, we're up, the kids aren't up. Let's get in the word, let's spend some time, let's go on a walk, let's exercise, whatever. Let's do the things that we need to do for self-care. And then, we start our homeschool day at 8:30, which we're up early. So 8:30 to us, it's like we've got several hours to do that. So that's important to us. And then to uh, our homeschool days, really it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday we go at it hard. Tuesday, Wednesday a little lighter. Thursday is pretty light, and then Friday is usually like what we call a heart connection day, where it's more about doing something shoulder to shoulder with the kids. So that makes it to where you don't get to a point where you just feel completely burned out. Especially we've been doing this for a long time now. So a lot of the young homeschool parents that we talk to, they're still thinking like public school mentality and test and this and that. Like they're trying to accomplish so much in a day that really doesn't even need to be accomplished. You start to
Indeed.
realize, man, we're doing a lot of things that we don't really need to do. So as you continue to walk through that homeschool journey, you realize, okay, some of the stuff isn't as important. Like obviously to us, the main focus is teach them to read, get them to fall with
Yes.
reading, right? That's like the main focus, you know?
That's where my main focus is. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
please.
reading. And if they
Yes.
like reading, great. But a lot of their school is reading,
Yes.
And then outside of that, there's certain things it's like all the different subjects that they have at public school, even in some of the homeschool stuff, you realize as the time goes on, man, they ain't going to use any of this, especially with Chat GPT and technology. I taught my 8-year-old doesn't have a phone, obviously, or I don't want to say obviously. She doesn't have a phone
Right.
that's like connected to where she can call people, but she does have a phone that she can play on, but it's not connected to the internet or anything. And if your kid does, I'm not saying anything against that.
Yes.
My point was, we've taught our kids to use Chat GPT to
Mm.
know how to study and ask questions and research and this and that because So many people are scared of AI and technology, but I think it's a tool. It's
Yes,
we are the master of it. We're its master. So, but
indeed.
if you're scared of it, then it's your master. So learn it, master it, and know how to use it responsibly. Heck, if you want to be scared about anything with your kids, be scared about social media. Don't be scared about Chat GPT. Be scared about social media. Because when you get
Indeed.
onto social media, that's when, like, we took social media away from our daughter after so long, and I told her when she's 18 she can have it. I'm like, because there's
Mm,
grown people on there that don't even know how to control themselves. So I can't expect a 10, 14, 16-year old to know how to handle themselves when most adults can't even handle themselves on social.
yeah. Social media is a big conversation. My oldest was just talking. She's 11. We were just having that conversation last night. She's like, oh, well, people are telling me I should get a Snap. And I said, well, who are these people and why? Why? I don't even know what Snapchat is. Like, you don't need it.
Oh yeah, Snap's the worst because those you take a picture and send it and it disappears. Like there's no trace of it.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, no, she's
Yeah.
not getting it. They barely get to go on YouTube. But it's just like, I want to be able to give her certain things. Like I tell
Yeah.
her I need help with maintaining our social media, our homeschool your kids social media. But I need to know that she's gonna have discipline to get up there and do what needs to be done and not just scroll. And that's why I told her she's a scroller already. So we're not
Oh
there
yeah.
yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But
My
social
saying is
media.
we're contributors, not consumers.
Yeah, social media is a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot on the
Yeah.
child's mental all the way. Um, well, look, three things that you would like to leave our listeners with. If they didn't hear anything else in this conversation, what are three takeaways you want them to, hey, take this.
Three things. One is like I said earlier, life happens for you, not to you. Did I say that earlier? I feel like I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, life happens for you, not to you. So when life is happening, figure out how to use it for your advantage. Don't go into the victim side of, oh, this is happening to me because of this or that. Uh, that's one thing I always love to share. Another thing that I always love to share is to always have hope.
Mm,
A lot of believers know that scripture, Hebrews 11:1, faith is being certain of what we hope for, sure of what we do not see, or faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. But if we don't have hope, we can't have faith. And so instead of going to the negatives, like our minds naturally are wired to do, start asking yourself hopeful questions like, hey, what if this does work? What if this does go this way? So just stay hopeful, be
mm.
hopeful, especially when we're with our kids as homeschool parents all the times. You can lose hope. You could get overwhelmed,
Gets a little
overstimulated, like, oh
dark.
my
It
god.
gets a little dark at times. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, my kids don't stop talking and blah blah blah. Like it gets stressful.
Yes.
And then another thing I'd say is everything that we need already exists. We're just not aware of it yet. But that
Mm,
goes back to the get curious, right? Especially with homeschooling kids and them all being wired a little differently. And where that's the beauty of homeschool, we can all tweak things a little differently. Just remind yourselves, hey, they're going to turn out. This isn't going to matter 5 years from now. So I'm going to keep hope. And then just know, hey, there's a solution to everything. I'm just not aware of it yet. So stay curious and just keep looking for those solutions. And there's so many resources. And that's the beauty, like you said, co-ops. That's one of the beauties of a co-op is you get around other people and somebody could share an idea that literally brings you from no hope to all the hope you need
right.
by one simple idea. Oh, have you tried this? Or have you written it on a flashcard and shown it to them? And you're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. It's just that one idea, but we
Mhm.
get we get so overwhelmed in the moment that we can't get out of it emotionally to come up here and think logically. But that's the
Yes,
beauty of a co-op and being in community.
indeed. Thank you for that, Gar. Thank you for this whole conversation. I feel like you've given our listeners a lot to think about just in regards to life itself. and our personal growth, as well as in the homeschool community, as well as in the RV community, as well as in the entrepreneur. Like you've given a lot. You've given a lot of jewels in such a short amount of
Thank you.
time. So thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, and listeners. Like understand that there are no limits to this game called life. Like there really isn't. It's all about what works for you and your family and how you shape it to help you reach your level of success. So don't be afraid. Trust the process always. Reach out to the community, reach out to your or do the research and access your resources that are available to you and just check out something different. I feel like Fireside RV rental. I feel like as far as the franchise though, I think that's pretty dope for homeschoolers to look into as far as like, having an income, another income, because it's real out here and everything is expensive. So help you keep your head above water, but definitely check them out. If not only to rent a RV also because it's fun on the road. It really is, and it exposes your children to so much, and it really does bring you closer together. I mean, I feel like I can't get any closer to my children, but they love to be in my back pocket apparently. So, but always and forever, homeschool your kids.